Quinn Ewers didn't lose his job to injury, but a couple of Cowboys might have. Let's talk about it. So there is a growing push I saw on social media late last night as I was scanning through Twitter and looking over some of the just various responses to the game. A lot more positivity this week than last week against the Giants. And there was a common theme with two different injuries. And those injuries to Tyler Guyton and Brandin Cooks that said, sorry, dudes, I know you weren't supposed to lose your job, but now that somebody else has stepped in and played a little bit in your absence while you're out with these injuries, there's got to be a change over here. So let's talk first about the Jalen Tolbert one. I saw some questions on here, people asking, did Ryan Flournoy get in at all? He did. He played 13 snaps, actually. He just was not targeted at all. They may have been a lot of run blocking snaps. I'm not totally sure which ones he got in on, but when looking at his snap count this morning, he got 13 snaps. But they needed Jalen Tolbert to step up yesterday. He did. Led the team in targets, catches, yards, had the big touchdown. And great throw by Dak on the fourth down, but that's a tough catch to finish. Like with somebody draped on your back,
yes,
hacking at your arm. That's
he's going 3/4 speed. That's
the attack the football and like strong hands type of mentality that you saw when he was at South Alabama, that you're like, where's that guy been for 2 years? This hasn't been the same player. And you saw it, I think it was the Saints game where he had the big catch down the field where he went up, attacked the ball, came down with it. It was a big gain. He had another big gain yesterday. He had that big tough catch yesterday. You're starting to see that come to fruition a little bit. It took a long time. It's been 3 years, and it's still a work in progress. But do you feel comfortable enough with what Jalen Tolbert has done to this point where you say, that's your number 2 receiver, and when Brandin Cooks gets back, you just work him in as best you can?
I can't go there yet. It's easy to after yesterday's game, but unfortunately they have played other games this season. 7 for 87, clutch, big plays. I'm surprised that his catches, his average was just 12.4 after the big catch he had down the field. I can't go there yet as me feeling fantastic that he's the number 2. I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong.
Chop?
Well, I'll tell you this. Cooks is a replacement level player.
Yep. Oh, yeah. By the way, anything I just said about Jalen Tolbert is not because of Brandin Cooks.
Right. Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, look, we're talking about a guy who, through 5 weeks, has 250 yards. So you're looking at about 750 for the year if you just extrapolate that out. A little bit more. Isn't that more than what Brandin Cooks had last year?
Yeah, what did Brandin Cooks finish with last
something?
year was, he was 6 or 7 something.
So I think this is a young man's game. It's a young man's game. Take the names out. Brandin Cooks is not a name. Jalen Tolbert's not a name. Just put their resumes side by side from this year. I wouldn't have a problem with that. It's fresh legs, man.
Are we thinking the wrong way about it though? In general, is the answer that you're not looking for a number 2 receiver, you are looking for a number 3 pass catcher?
Right.
That the second guy in the progression is Jake Ferguson. That's the guy who needs to be getting. Which, by the way, he's played really steady the last 2 weeks. But like each time I look at the box score, I'm like, geez, he put up bigger numbers last night than I realized, or he put up bigger numbers against the Giants than I realized.
No, like last night, I felt like he produced the way I felt about him. It didn't feel sneaky. I was negligent not giving him a star up. That 3rd and 9 was big. That huge. 3rd and 9 was big. 6 for 70. Span Ford had a nice play to start off the game. So I had written down Cowboys tight ends collectively. I've incorrectly thrown Lipke in there. It's just because he's white and big. But Ferguson, 6 for 70. Star up to Jake, my favorite offensive player on the team, with Overshone, my favorite defensive player.
Big time star up to him. And like, just the notion, first of all, like that 3rd and 9. I hate when it's not thrown or the route is not run beyond the sticks. That could have turned out disastrous. If that throw was on the inside, not the outside, that could have turned out disastrous.
Now, last night...
And what's your answer to it?
That I think neither one of them strike me as number 2, so I think it's going to be an alternating thing. That it's just going to be more flow of the game and matchup based because Cooks still is.
I would still prefer for them to shop.
Yeah, sure. I'm in favor of that as long as you're not going to get in Devontae Adams. If you're just trying to buy somebody who would be an investment long term into the future, I can get down with that as a team building philosophy. I just don't want to go ahead and get somebody like Devontae Adams who's going to be a short term answer that you're going to have to give up a lot of capital for. One of the guys who was really impressed with Jalen Tolbert last night after making that big catch was Tyler Smith. And this is what he had to say about the big catch last night at the end of the game.
I mean, it was miraculous. I mean, JT literally sprained his nuts. Oh, excuse me, sorry, guys. Sprained his nuts the play before, comes back, makes the game winner. Unbelievable. Extended play. I mean, that's guys playing above the 2.3 dudes, emptying the clip. I mean, it was great stuff.
Man, a lot of football gun references lately. I honestly thought that Dak hit Tolbert in the balls with the third down throw. I thought the throw was so bad, he skipped it, shorted it, McNabbed it, and it hit Tolbert in the stones. And that he would be fine in recovering, but no, he was going about 80% across the whole field to eventually catch that ball, strong hands with a defender draped on him. I thought Dak hit him in the you know what.
He definitely skipped it. There's no doubt about that. So, what is a sprained nut?
You got it tomorrow for Jerry. Write it. Write it down. You'll go viral.
Right now.
Jerry, how do you sprain your nuts?
Now,
he'll die.
Boy,
he'll love it.
Think about the fact that the Cowboys then called a timeout after third down to huddle up, and then Pittsburgh called a timeout. Those 2 timeouts were probably precious time that gave Jalen Tolbert a few seconds to gather his breath. Because I know if I get hit there, I'm not walking for about the next 10 minutes, typically. I'm just laying in the fetal
hit
position.
Is not the bad. The graze is the worst, right? We all know the graze is that's the one where you get nauseated, right?
I mean,
the flick.
I don't know. I once kicked a football square directly really hard into my brother, and he had an ice pack on there for about 2 days.
So people in the fan text said it's not torsion. That'd have been an immediate surgery.
That's that's a twisting of the blood vessel.
That's an immediate ER visit. I don't know. Sprain. How do you sprain a vas deferens?
I think he just made up an injury, to be honest. But Tyler Smith was one of the guys who last night had to slide over to left tackle after Tyler Guyton goes out with an injury. Tyler Guyton, who has flashed at times and looked really good at times, but it's just really inconsistent. And he's still clearly trying to come along. The penalties have been an issue. The hand usage isn't always consistent. And after he goes out with that injury last night, Tyler Smith has to bounce out to left tackle, where he has not really practiced much. And TJ Bass comes in and plays left guard. And it felt like, I mean, we'll go back, we'll look at it, and we'll look at the metrics and everything else to see if it matches up this way with the feel of it. But it felt like that offensive line was better. It was a more cohesive unit when TJ Bass came in at left guard and Tyler Smith went to left tackle. Now, that's not.
Were you saying, honestly, in the press box, this is about to get real messy?
No, because I mean, Tyler Smith, I know he can play left tackle. I've seen it before. And Bass, I just know he's steady. He's not going to be as good at guard as Tyler Smith. He's not. That's not the level. But he's going to be consistent. I was saying OS more when Zach Martin left for a few plays, even though he had a rough game yesterday. And then Brock Hoffman comes in and right off the jump is like, let me pick up a unnecessary roughness penalty right out of the gate playing guard, especially when he's been playing center pretty consistently. But what you saw yesterday with the offensive line and some of the changes and some of the growing pains you've had with Tyler Smith, do you say no, don't dash his confidence, don't do anything to potentially Jack Leiter him? Let's not do that. Let's stay the course. Or do you say, no, this is a better unit when TJ Bass is playing guard and Tyler Smith's at tackle?
Give me a 1 through 10 on Guyton so far this year. 10 being awesome.
5.
What do you think Tyler Smith could be for the next 4 weeks?
At tackle specifically?
Yep.
8.
I'm down to have him play tackle.
And I think Bass is probably at guard a 6. 6.5 maybe.
And Tyler at guard is a 9.
Tyler guard's a 9.5 to 10.
Okay.
I'd keep him at guard then, right? 9.5 to 10.
I'm putting him at tackle. Udoga's coming back when?
That's been really unclear. When Udoga comes back, that might be a 5 or a 5.5 at tackle. Like, you really don't know.
Yeah.
And the thing about Guyton is if you stay committed to it, in all likelihood, as that unit continues to play together, he will be better than a 5 by the time the year ends.
Yeah. How has Steele been?
Steele looked
Because
like
some told us want to put Guyton over there.
live copy. Steele did not look like he had a very good game.
I mean, he faced TJ.
Now he did have a really good on the Dowdle touchdown. He did a really good job getting TJ Watt pushed up field and extending time for Dak to make the play. And there have been a couple times where I was really critical of him, and then I went back and watched, and I was like, Steele's played better. But first glance last night, I thought that was a really difficult performance for him. But overall, I think Steele's been solid.